This is really about each one of y'all and many others around the state. This is not about me. This is about liberty. But before I start speaking too much, I want to thank my wife, the love of my wife, for being such a tremendous support to me. I could not do this without her. I like Susan of 30 years. But I also have other family here. Seems like more and more people are congregating in our family in Austin. My son Daniel, we're in the back, and his wife Mary over here next to my wife. And then also I have Mike and Mary Louise McCon right here, thank you. And their son Dane McCon and his wife Mary Alice right here, thank you all so much. And their lovely daughters, thank you. Trying to think who else. There's so many people here.
Anybody else would like to drink?
I think I've got the relations. But I do want to particularly thank Don Rasmussen for helping not only put this event together, really appreciate that, but really launch and direct my campaign from the really very early on in June. Thank you so much, Don. I do also want to thank Ryan. Don already mentioned Ryan Malden, Beachy Media. Ryan worked as a volunteer in my first race. I coached him in soccer when he was in high school, and he's been coaching me in politics ever since. It was probably easier to coach soccer. Anyway. I do want to also thank Kathy C. and Chief of Staff. And I just want to thank each of y'all for coming out tonight, for praying for me. Not all of you can vote for me, but you can all pray. In the district, that's usually what I say. If they can't vote, I tell them, well, you can pray, and I hand them a card. This ultimately is a really big race, and I can win it. And ultimately, God exalts, and He casts down. He rules in the affairs of men, as I believe Franklin said. But He does use means. He made us in His image, free and responsible, male and female. He made us for His glory, to enjoy Him. But He also made us to love one another, to enjoy one another in marriage and as neighbors. He made us to love our neighbor's liberty as much as our own. And this is what this campaign is really all about. It's about advancing liberty and personal responsibility and limiting government to its proper role, and then just getting it out of the way. In the Senate, I'll have 5 times as much opportunity to do that. To give you a practical understanding, in the House, I have to have 75 votes plus my own to pass a bill. In the Senate, I just need 15. So it's really about 5 times as much influence. And even when you're not in the majority, you can still shine a light if you have the courage to stand up and speak and go to the mic. We passed numerous retroactive ex post facto bills this last session that completely violated the Constitution. Now we need, it's not just the speaker, it's not just the leader, we need representatives, we need senators to speak the truth and to shine a light. I told myself I was just going to give an elevator speech, so I haven't kept that rule, that decision. But I am going to give you my elevator speech, because I believe in individual liberty and personal responsibility. And if you haven't harmed your neighbor, the government shouldn't be in the way. That's it. resounds in Austin, Texas. That resounds in Northeast Texas. I get amens on that. I believe that. That's exactly what I believe. I can get behind that as I go door to door and from town hall to town hall. We've knocked on about 11,000 or 12,000 doors now. They're hosting town halls in each of the counties, several town halls in each of the counties where we can. We're speaking to spread the message of liberty. But I'm going to close with this. Many of y'all know I wear a little pin on my lapel that says Texas and Liberty. I'm going to give you the story about that, and then I'm going to finish. Turn this back over to Don. In 1835, on this date, there was a fundraiser held in Macon, Georgia. They'd heard about Santa Anna revoking the Constitution. They'd heard about the troops going to Gonzales and trying to take the little cannon that had been given to the inhabitants there to protect themselves from the terrorists of those days. And they heard about the Come and Take It flag. Well, in Macon, Georgia, they raised about $3,000 to outfit 150 Georgia volunteers who left their families, they left their spouses, they left their children, they left their farms to march to Texas over 600 miles to win Texas independence, to advance liberty. Their first stop was at the little town of Knoxville, Georgia, where Joanna Troutman and her family ran a little inn. And she had heard about them coming. And she took something precious that she had. She took her white silk skirt. She was a 17-year-old girl. And she made it into one of the earliest Lone Star banners. And underneath that blue star on the front, it said, Texas and liberty. That was the cause for which they were going to fight. But their motivation for that, their vision, was on the back of that flag in Latin. And it said, where liberty dwells, there is our country. They saw freedom in Texas. They saw liberty there. They wanted to preserve it. And so they left what they had and they marched all the way to Texas. And I want to renew that patriot dream that sees beyond the years of alabaster cities that gleam, undimmed by human tears. That was the vision of our forefathers. They wanted to make as much as possible this a place of freedom, where it was used responsibly for the glory of God, for the good of their neighbor, as well as themselves. And that's what they saw happening in Texas. What has made Texas great? It's been big individuals, big families, big churches, big voluntary associations, and small government. This is the future of Texas.
Amen. This
individual liberty and personal responsibility. Sadly, we do need civil government. One day we won't in heaven. We'll use our freedom perfectly and responsibly. But while we're here, when you do harm your neighbor and don't rectify it, that's when government's needed. Otherwise, it needs to get out of the way and leave us alone, leave us free. Even when we make a wrong choice, it's usually self-correcting if it's not subsidized by the government. There's a place for charity, but it's with churches and individuals and families. So let's renew that patriot dream. Thank you for helping me do this in Senate District 1. It's a big race. We can win it. There's several people in the race, and I'm very encouraged. The message of liberty is loved and being well received in Northeast Texas. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for supporting liberty. May God bless each one of you as you use your freedom responsibly. The glory of God and the good of your name. Don, I'm going to turn it back over to you.